Ripple isn't just partnered with banks, they have positioned themselves at the center of the entire financial system. In this video, we're going to show you some connections between Swift, Ripple, XRP through the banks they are both working with. And by the end of this video, I hope that you see that we are getting closer to the institutional adoption, and they're telling us right in front of our face if we're paying attention to these news stories and not getting too bogged down with price action. So let's go ahead and jump into the first story that's hitting all the headlines out there. I'm sure some of your favorite content creators have already talked about this, but I want to touch on it on a different light and show you a different perspective of this. And it is the Swift story that's talking about the 50 banks. If you've heard about it, hit yes, I've heard about it down in the comments. Let me know if you're aware of the story. But let's go ahead and hop into it. Check out your screen with me. This does come from Swift themselves. I will leave this link down in the description with the rest of the research in this video so you can do your own research. It's very important. You always do your own research. So let's go ahead and hop into the story. Let's look at what they're saying here. The headline is Transforming Consumer Payments, Bank Rollout, New Framework for Retail Transactions. But what I want to look at here as we're looking through this story isn't just the new banks connection, etc. We've been knowing this for quite some time as we saw the rollout of ISO 20022 with Swift. That was a big deal back in November of 2025. But this is something else they're working on, and I want you to pay attention to these list of banks they have highlighted within this article. So check it out. Let's look at those banks together. It says, who is part of this initiative? More than 50 banks from around the world are supporting the framework, including, and I'm not going to read through all these banks, of course, but I will point out just a couple as I run through it. We have Bank of America, Bank of China, Bank of the Philippines, BNP Paribas, BBVA, JP Morgan, UBS, and it keeps on going. I don't want to waste your time reading through that list. You can pause it, screenshot it, do whatever you need to do with it, use this link. But what I wanted to point out there is that list of banks. So that is from Swift directly. But what I wanted to roll on and show you is the connection now between Swift and Ripple, because I know there's a lot of confusion and a lot of back and forth saying that Ripple is going to replace Swift, or no, they're working together. Hey, Swift is using Chainlink, they're using Ethereum, they're using whatever, right? There's a lot of different stories, but I think the key underlying here is the new system is going to be interoperable. It's going to be multi-chain, and maybe one day, who knows, maybe Ripple does replace Swift. I mean, is that possible? Or maybe Ripple just enhances the Swift network since it's already a trusted company that all the companies or banks around the world already use, right? So who knows how this is going to unfold. But let's run into the story that comes from Chart Nerd. Before I give you this story here, I do want to point out this story comes from Nick at Encash Official, is who I heard it from. So I always love to give credit when credit is due. I have no affiliation with Nick, but he is a great resource and I highly encourage you to follow him. He is spot on with his TA and he has a great perspective of the market. Now let's look into the story from Chart Nerd, and this comes out on March 23rd, 2026. And I want to highlight something here. So check out your screen with me. It says XRP, probably nothing. Over 50 leading banks are collaborating with Swift to define functionality and future phases of development. Ripple is partnered or has trialed its system with more than 30 of those Swift banking collaborators, fingers and pies. And as you look through this list, we have ABSA, ANZ, Banco, Santander, Bank of America, Citi, Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan Chase, BNY. The list goes on, and again, you can screenshot and refer down to the description below for this link so you can do your own research. You can compare and contrast these two lists together should you want to. Okay, so outside of that list of banks, there's something else that's kind of unfolding, which you've been hearing about, which is the XRP Las Vegas. Another reason I'm pointing this out is because the sponsors and then the speakers at this event is a telltale sign and backing up what we just read with Swift from their list of banks, etc. And I want to show you the XRP Las Vegas lineup and some of their topics they're talking about, so you have a better understanding of why this is beyond just XRP, because it impacts the whole community, as the crypto community as a whole. And I will show you what I'm talking about after we go through a couple of key points here for XRP Las Vegas. So go ahead and check out your screen with me. So this is their actual website. We have XRP Las Vegas, the largest XRP conference in the world, happening April 30th through May 1st, 2026. Now, I don't think this is any kind of mistake or the timing of this seems to be perfect because as we're watching, we get in the Clarity Act slowly coming together. Do we see the Clarity Act finally being signed around this time, or maybe perhaps before this time? We don't know, but it is a good thing to keep an eye on, and I wouldn't be surprised if this were to line up around the same time, maybe a little bit after, what have you, but who knows how that's going to go. I'm not claiming that's what's going to happen, just something to keep your eye out on to see if that's what's happening. But what I'm going to show you is more or less the topics at XRP Las Vegas. So check it out. We have TradFi DeFi sessions mapping out the future of finance and investing. Then we have the builders, deep dives into developing and building within the crypto blockchain and Web3. Then of course policy, which is huge. I think that gets overlooked a lot by investors, but a policy is what actually gets this adoption in place. Then we have Web3. We have all things ownership, economy, and NFTs, the metaverse, brand building, DAOs, and more. Okay, so we know when, we know what topics, but who are the speakers that are going to be at this event? And the speakers at these events, I want you to look at these names, look at the companies in which they represent, and kind of think back on 2025, 2024, as we look in history, and these people have been working together for quite some time, kind of dropping hints that they're all working together. And after we run through the people, the sponsors, the speakers, I want to touch on something that I am working on for Friday's video. So if you're watching this in real time, as this is released on March 25th, 2026, look out for the video that's coming out Friday, March 27th, 2026. It's going to tie into the speakers and how they're all related. And we kind of go in a deeper dive into the banking system, different policies. We're going to jump into Bretton Woods. We're going to jump into Basel III and show you how all this is kind of coming together. And we're going to look outside of just crypto, and we're going to look into what's actually happening behind the scenes in that video. It's going to be a very interesting video. It's going to be very informative. I hope to see you on that video. But let's go ahead and look at the speakers and panelists for XRP Las Vegas. Take a look at your screen with me. We're going to run through a couple of names here. Of course, we have Brad Garlinghouse of Ripple, CEO, Ashish, of course, of Evernorth, but Caroline Pham of MoonPay. Check out Caroline Pham. She is the money you want to follow. I'm not saying her personal money, but she has been moving around, and where she's at now is going to blow your mind, which we will talk about on Friday's video. Then we also have, of course, David Schwartz is going to be there. Then Keith from MoonPay, he's the president, is going to be there. Simon with Zebec is going to be there. Zebec, Ripple, XRP connection, as we've been saying for quite some time now. Then we also have Matt of Bitwise, Sal of Tukarium. We keep going down. We have CPO of Solana, of course, Eleanor Tourette. If you don't follow her, definitely follow her. Easy A brothers are going to be there. Then rolling down, we have Caleb and Brown, and then also Uphold is going to be at this event. So as we look at those names, it's not just about Ripple XRP. We're looking at MoonPay, we're looking at Uphold, we're looking at exchanges and brokerages. We're looking at the money moving into the system. And that's what Friday's video is going to be about, is more the institutions are moving in, and they're moving in a very quiet way. And in that video, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And it's all going to come together so you have a better understanding of the bigger, more macro view of what's really happening in front of us outside of this very narrow look as crypto is for us, right? We kind of get locked into projects. We kind of forget to look at the more macro view. And especially if you're an investor, if you're a long-term investor, this is something you definitely want to be paying attention to, because when it comes to investing and you're in the market, it's very important to be being responsive to the market versus reactionary to the market. Responsive is you have a game plan should this happen. Reactionary is, oh crap, stuff hit the fan. How am I going to respond? And that's usually where we make mistakes. So hopefully you enjoyed something in this video. If you did, please hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Are you excited for XRP Las Vegas? And if you like this type of reporting where there's no hype, no fluff, no price predictions, consider hitting that subscribe button. We would love to have you a part of the channel. Before I let you go, as always, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and become that change that you want to see in the world. I'll see you on the next one.